Hi, I'm Christopher John Farley, a senior editor with the Wall Street Journal. I'm here with Deborah Ann Woll, who's one of the co-stars of the TV series Daredevil. Thanks for coming to the Wall Street Journal.
Thank you very much for having me.
You know, so Daredevil, it's on Netflix, and you know, there are a lot of superhero projects out there. What makes this one different, do you think?
It's about telling a story that's a little more complex, that you're not looking at good guy superheroes and bad guy villains, that our villains have hearts and have desires. And you know, I look at Wilson Fisk from our first season, and he thought he was doing the best that he could by Hell's Kitchen. And so is Daredevil, and Daredevil does some things that are really questionable. So I think it's that gray area that we've sort of played with.
And your character too, because she kind of started off as a damsel in distress, but then around the end of last season, she had this really interesting level of complexity that was added on, where she grabbed a bad guy's gun, and he thought he couldn't use it, and she did know how to use it, and she suggested she'd used it before, and she used it on him.
Yes.
So are we going to get more of that kind of complexity with your character, that sort of edginess with this new season?
Yeah, no, I think this is an edgy, complex world, and Karen's a part of that. And you know, certainly she has this mystery in her background that we don't have the full story on yet. But I think if you look at someone, a young woman who, you know, maybe she's done things like this before, but she is now grappling with the fact that she's killed someone. Now, she did it in self-defense, but Matt Murdock would say that was too far. And now we have this new character coming in, Frank Castle, who's
the Punisher.
The Punisher. And his belief is that we should just take the bad guys down, that if you don't kill them, if you don't take them out, they just come back. So if he's running around doing this and people are calling him a monster, what does that mean for Karen?
Hungry?
Yeah, you're expanding the character roster this season. You got the Punisher, you got Elektra coming in. How is that going to add to the mix and add to the chemistry of the show?
Well, I think, like we said, they represent these different ways to be a hero and different ways to change your community. You know, I think we talk a lot about Elektra being sort of a sociopath, but on the same side, she's trying to do what she thinks is right, and so is Frank Castle. So these are examples for our heroes, for Matt and Karen and Foggy to look at and try to decide where they fall within that spectrum.
Now, what I find interesting about your character, Karen Page, of course, she had this flirtation with Foggy. This season, we might see some sparks fly between you and the alter ego for Daredevil. It's only a three-person office, and she may have dated both guys by the time we're done here.
Well, but here's the really interesting thing to remember. As far as we know, we don't know anything about Karen's family. She doesn't seem to have any friends. I mean, her family, the people that she feels safe with, are those two guys. It's this family of Nelson and Murdock. And I don't know that she's ready yet to take the risk of being vulnerable with anyone else.
Now, of course, at the center of the show, Daredevil, he's a blind superhero. And I've heard you talk about the fact that your boyfriend, E.J. Scott, he has a degenerative eye disease that's gradually taking his eyesight.
Yes.
Is it just a coincidence you ended up in a show that, you know, has blindness at its core, or was there something else going on there?
No, it's just coincidence. I mean, it's a great series, and I auditioned, and they wanted me, and that's kind of how that goes for us. But I think there's something, I am proud to be part of a show that is giving a voice to that community.
How do you feel this new season of Daredevil differs from the first one? What are fans going to get that's different?
I mean, I think last year there was a very singular focus. It was Wilson Fisk. We're going to bring down Wilson Fisk. This year felt to me much more expansive. The idea that we were taking on the system, that it was the law, it was the police, it's the gangs, it's all of these different systems that have some bit of corruption in them, and it feels impossible. All Karen wants is justice and truth. And that's hypocritical of her, because, of course, she has this huge secret.
There's also this larger Marvel Cinematic Universe, which you guys allude to throughout your show. I mean, we see one of the big incidents of an alien attack that happened in the Avengers movies, pop up as sort of a backstory on your show. Is there going to be more of that in the future on your show? And what do you know about that in terms of how it ties in to this larger Avengers cinematic universe?
Well, I mean, we're certainly going to continue to do what we have done, which is the fact that the events that happen in the movies happen in the lives of our characters on the television show. I mean, I think that we can totally expect sort of crossovers in that respect.
And of course, when Daredevil hits Netflix, people are probably going to binge on it. They're going to watch all the episodes at once. Does that change what you do as an actress, knowing that people are going to consume everything you do in one fell 13 episode or so swoop?
If in a series where you're thinking, well, it's going to be a week before they find out why I did that, you know, maybe you want to make sure that every episode there's something to love and something complex about the character. But now you can really go all in and say, all right, I'm going to lose the audience in this episode. In this episode, they're going to think Karen is absolutely wrong, but it's okay because I know in 3 minutes when they let that next episode start to roll over that I'll have vindication.
Now, of course, in True Blood, you played a vampire. In Daredevil, you don't have any kind of powers.
Yeah.
I mean, you wish you had powers in the show when you see people walking around like Elektra and Punisher and Daredevil who can take out villains. And do you kind of wish you played a character that could be more physical sometimes?
Well, I did that for 7 years, so I feel like I played the superhero. So in a way, no, because what it means is that Karen, because she can't throw a knife at you or punch you in the face, she has to win with her intelligence and with her words and with her guts. She's just got to be braver than you and a step ahead of you. And I think that's a really rewarding quality, and especially for a female character, one that I would love to see more of.
Okay, well, the series is Daredevil. It's on Netflix. Season 2 coming very soon. That's stuff coming from the Wall Street Journal. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.